What's up, guys? Ninth Jim here, bringing another Pokemon Sword and Shield VGC 2020 competitive video. Today we're talking about Whimsicott. I like this Pokemon a lot. It's always been had a little place in my heart. Being Prankster, I love Prankster. It's a great ability. Gives you priority on all of your stat inflicting moves. Speed priority on any status category move, certain ones. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna be talking about that. Prankster. We have a couple of good abilities here, but Prankster is the one of choice, giving you a lot of good, giving you an insane move pool. Everything is speed priority increased by 1. Super good. Everything is really good about this Pokemon. Its move pool is amazing for it as well. So we have all those in a showdown part, so I'm not going to be going over those. We will go ahead and look at the stats here, though. So right off the bat, you look at the speed and you're like, whoa, that's pretty good. It's pretty fast and really good. So 116 speed is pretty good. Not great bulk, however. I mean, the defense and special defense are like solid, but its HP is pretty lacking. All the way down at 60. Attack is 67, 77 special attack. We usually will be running 1 special attack move, maybe 2 depending on the build. However, and depending on the rest of your team. However, it's not the main thing of its set, because what we're talking about here is priority, giving you priority status inflicting moves. Super good. And 116, you're going to be able to beat out opposing things that have Prankster, stuff like Grimmsnarl and stuff. Anyway, but you can't hit Grimmsnarl with the priority because it doesn't affect dark Pokemon here. Moves increased by this stat can't be used on dark type Pokemon, so you can't do something like a taunt onto a Grimmsnarl with this Pokemon, so keep that in mind. But taunt is still good against a lot of other Pokemon, things like Snorlax for the belly drum combo, so on and so forth. There's a lot of things. Let's go ahead and get into the first build here. This is going to be the main build that we're looking off of. I also have a set over here that is not an actual set, it's just useful other things that you can do, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Here's our regular first build. We're running Focus Sash on it because it's very frail, like I said before. This guarantees you get to do 1 attack, even if your priority isn't like maxed. If something else hits you first, you know, something like Fake Out into the Whimsicott's spot, you'll be able to attack next turn. Or they'll have to double target into it with Focus Sash, so that's something else to keep in mind. So we're going to go ahead and look at, obviously Prankster. We're going to go ahead and look at some moves here. So Fake Tears is our first move. This is not the main move, but depending on how your team comp goes, you may want to cut this, but if you have a fast special attacking Pokemon, you can Fake Tears something and then go into attack. So that's why I have the Dragapult in here. This could be something like a Hydreigon, Sylveon. Sylveon's not super fast, but there's a lot of Pokemon, something like a Scarfed Darulodon or Daruludon. I don't remember how you pronounce that, but Darulodon, a fast one with Scarf or something, can give you Fake Tears, and then you hit it with something like a Dragon Pulse or something like any of these moves. It can do really good damage. Another combo is Beat Up. This is used a lot now. It's definitely coming back into the meta. It used to be used with Terrakion. Now it's being used with things like Lucario and Arcanine. If you don't know, this is supposed to be justified. If you don't know what the Beat Up combo is, Beat Up is a attack that hits 2 to 5 times. And it's a dark move. It hits only a little bit of damage, and it hits you attack your own Pokemon with that. You use one of these 2 Pokemon, anything with the ability Justified. So this ability is whenever you get hit with a dark type move, your attack is raised 1 stage. So that's really cool for Lucario and Arcanine. You hit it with Beat Up. You make this guy max speed 116 base. Both of these are 90 and 95. So you're going to attack first with Whimsicott, attack second, hopefully with these. If your opponent outspeeds, then it is what it is. But hopefully your guy doesn't die, and then you get to just deal huge damage right out of the gate with that. So that's really cool. You usually Dynamax them. But yeah, so you attack your own guy with Beat Up. Comes out to this guy, he gains 3 to 4 stages, so he goes +4, and then you just start killing everything with something like a Meteor Mash, Close Combat, on this guy, Flare Blitz or Close Combat. And then after that first turn, you also have priority moves on both of these. You have Bullet Punch, which gives you priority, and you also have Extreme Speed, which is also priority. This one is more priority than Lucario, but you know how it is. These guys are dishing out really, really huge attack really quickly. This isn't a video about Justified. This is a video about Whimsicott, so we're going to get on to the next thing. It's going to be Tailwind. Tailwind is also just insane. Priority Tailwind is amazing. Anything with Prankster that has Tailwind is going to be seeing play in the meta no matter what. Especially with things like the fish in the meta, Dracovish. Things in general that love Tailwind. Dracovish is the first one to come to mind. So this is a pretty solid team core if you want to go ahead and like plug this into Showdown, something like what you want to like anywhere. If you want to play some kind of like basic core right off the bat with Whimsicott, run it with fake tears and then run a faster special attacker and then beat up something with Justified, one of these two, and then Tailwind and something that loves Tailwind, so like Dracovish. And just Tailwind in general is just really very, very powerful. And then for our last spot, we're usually going to be running a move, an attacking move. So it's going to be Moonblast, potentially Energy Ball. It depends on how your team is looking. If you're really afraid of Gastrodon, like if you're running the fish and you're afraid of Gastrodon, Energy Ball is a pretty good move here to run on there. However, if you need a fairy type move, you can also run Moonblast. There's also, of course, if you're not really running any special attackers on your team, you can take off fake tears and make it the other attacking move, like Energy Ball or something along those lines. So yeah, and then it's not bad to have 2 attacking moves. So anyway, we're gonna go into our stats here. We max our HP and max our speed. Speed is the most important. HP doesn't need to be. You could potentially be running something like special attack maxed. However, since we're running the focus Sash, you don't really need to max into HP. That's just my spread currently, but maybe this is better. But one thing that is important is Timid, being plus speed minus attack for a couple of reasons. Obviously, we don't use attack at all, and also if you're running a beat up spread, you want to be minus attack as much as possible. You also want to go ahead and 0 IVs in your attack. It's not super important because beat up is not going to be dishing out much damage anyway. It does. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it's important to make it as little as possible so you're not hurting your own guys very much with beat up, not putting them in range of anything that your opponent can do to kill it. So yeah, that's kind of important. You don't need to do it, however, but the Timid is pretty important because minus that attack stat and also plus your speed. You want your speed as high as possible. So anyway, yeah, that's some interesting little things that this guy can do. Beat up for the Justified combo, and then also Tailwind for just in general. Priority Tailwind is insane. And then good moves, fake tears for something like a Dragapult or like a Hydreigon or Sylveon, or it goes endlessly. All your special attackers that you can use, Duraludon, something like that. Tailwind for fish. And then we have a couple of other things that you can do here. So we have a screen. If you need screens, if you're not playing Grimmsnarl, if you want to be using screens and you already have Whimsicott on your team, and for that flex spot, if you're not using very many special attackers, you can just put on a light screen instead. Another good option is Taunt. However, it doesn't hit the biggest threat for Taunt, which is the Grimmsnarl, so that's pretty unfortunate. I hope you can't hear that cat next door. It's scratching. Hopefully you can't hear that. But yeah, anyway, Taunt is good. Energy Ball, we have Energy Ball on the other one already. Not really, but it's there. Just another good option. We also have Trick Room, so this guy can learn Trick Room, and Trick Room would have priority. So that's another really interesting thing to keep in mind, is that if you are running Trick Room on your team and you want a second Trick Roomer, like say you're playing like Mimikyu or the Hatterene combo, but you're playing Whimsicott in the back to set up Tailwind for Draco after the Trick Room goes down, or if Trick Room is your secondary plan, if you don't need to set it up, you have a Trick Room mode on your team, then Trick Room can be on Whimsicott, so that's pretty interesting as well. Another thing to keep in mind is you could be running something like Light Clay if you want to get this light screen up. I don't believe it can learn Reflect, so it would only be for light screens, so that's not as much of an option. I definitely like the Focus Sash. I think that's the optimal item to be running on the Whimsicott. But yeah, so that's going to be really it for today's video. Whimsicott's a really great Pokemon. It's Prankster. Its move pool is insane for Prankster. That's something really good about this Pokemon. It has so many things. It also, one thing that I did not mention is Encore. Also, that's a really good move. Locks your opponent into something. Your opponent uses a status move. You Encore them. They get locked into using that move, and you're just really good. You're in a really good position out of doing that. So that's really interesting as well. I don't think this Pokemon can learn Trick. That's just something I thought of right there. No, it doesn't learn Trick. Anyway, but yeah, Priority and then Tailwind is insane. Beat Up combo is great. This Pokemon has access to a lot of great things. It's really fast and it's really good. It can be one of the centers of your team. It can be a great partner for a lot of Pokemon. So if you're thinking about using Whimsicott, use some of these spreads. They're really good. It also has access to a lot of good special attacking moves for Stab. And killing Gastrodon is really good with Energy Ball. I think it would probably two-shot because he's a pretty bulky Pokemon, being the Gastrodon. So, yeah. And a lot of people are running like Rindo Berry. I think it's Rindo Berry. The berry that makes your guy less effective with grass. So, yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. So if you like this kind of content, go ahead and like and subscribe. Go down into the comment section and suggest another Pokemon you want to see. Gigantamax, new gen, old gen, anything. I'd like to make a video about it. I'd like to hear your opinions. If you think this build could be better, if I'm running some weird stuff on my build, let me know. Go ahead and say it in the comments. So anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good evening or morning, whenever you're watching this. So thank you.